Welcome to Oko's channel, thanks for watching today, and Lies of P has officially dropped his DLC called Overture, and the bosses in this DLC are truly fantastic in every form and fashion. There's only 8 of them, but they are top tier in every single way, whether it's going to be from difficulty, or lore, or just simply overall design and aesthetics, or voice acting. They really went above and beyond on the bosses for this particular game. I have to say, I am so excited to see what the studio does next when they have their hands on Wizard of Oz, but regardless, we are talking about the bosses from Lies of P Overture here, and we're going to rank them all from easiest to hardest, so let's get started. In last place, we have the Tyrannical Predator, and don't get me wrong, he's a cool looking boss, and he shows the experimentation of the alchemist, but combat wise, he's quite slow here, he's very predictable, he's easy to dodge, he basically serves the purpose to ease you back into the Lies of P mechanics, and it gives you a huge beast to take down early on, to basically give you the ego boost to make you want to play the game even more. However, considering some of the upcoming bosses, he's really just simply not that difficult, and does deserve to be in last place. Next up is a Twofaced Overseer, basically the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of the Lies of P universe. He's a giant humanoid robot whose head is submerged in a little liquid container up top, and he goes from basically a very easy green phase to the totally chaotic and berserk red phase that's coming second. Luckily for us though, the game does give us a resource-free summon known as a tracker, and we can have him show up anytime we use the horn, which he himself gave us earlier in the game. But with his help, he can basically tank the entire red phase for you, allowing you just simply to stand back and make an otherwise insane battle a fairly nice evening stroll in the park. If you choose to solo this fella, he would move up on the list a good bit, but the game gives us the option for help and it fits with the lore, so why not use it for this battle? So therefore, the Twofaced Overseer, with our summon anyway, is going to come in second to last on our list. In 6th place is the Anguished Guardian of the Ruins, and despite this guy being enormous, he really isn't all that tough. His attacks are pretty telegraphed, with easy dodges into them, and since he's so large, it's also easy to get behind him with pretty much nearly endless leg attacks for damage and status build-up. His second phase is no doubt harder with laser beams that are reminiscent of Medir from Dark Souls 3. However, these lasers are so incredibly easy to telegraph and dodge through, they're almost a joke. Throw a summon into the mix, and the second, more aggressive phase becomes even easier. This boss is really just a show of the horrifying world that is being created within the Lies of P universe with the cutscenes and such. However, for this particular fella, the bite just doesn't quite match the bark. Next up is the Pre-Metamorphic Green Hunter, and he's the only optional boss in the DLC, and it's also the only repeat boss from the core game itself. And luckily for us, he stays in the first phase from the core game and doesn't ever mutate over to the more powerful being that you would have encountered earlier if you got to the DLC itself. However, this time around you are being forced to go to battle alone, and so therefore you have no summon to help distract from any of his moves, which does make this battle a little bit tougher than the core game. His moves are mostly telegraphed, but if you miss up on even a couple of them, the price is very hefty because he sucks the life out of you to refill his own HP with one of his grab attacks, and you're pretty much stuck in an even longer battle here. If you remember all the core strategies from the base game, he won't be too hard, but for me it had been a solid year or more since I'd gone through that, and I had to pretty much relearn the entire fight here. The saving grace for this fight though is when he gets down to about 1/10 of his health, he does take the opportunity to run away, and this is due to the fact that we're in the past, so he has to stay alive in order for us to have the encounter later on in the Lies of P timeline. But overall, since we've already had him once in the game, I feel like a middle position is a good spot for him here, especially since we're having to go solo. In 4th place, we have the team battle of Markiana, the Puppeteer of Death, and also her puppet itself is like a little sidekick here. And when you first go into this fight, it gets very chaotic very quickly because the puppet here seems to work pretty hard to keep you separated from her master. However, once you realize that the puppet is more of a distraction than anything, and it doesn't even have to be killed in the battle itself, you can truly go hard on the puppeteer and keep the pressure there, and the battle is over pretty darn quickly. Yes, she can attack fairly rapidly, but rarely will it be death blows, and there's plenty of time to back up and get healed up before heading back into the fight. Just simply don't fall for the puppet distraction, keep the battle simple, keep the pressure on her, and it's over far faster than you would expect. She's not as tanky as you would think, especially when you don't consider the health of the puppet itself. In 3rd place, we have Verinique, and despite being fairly early in the game, she is very fast and hard hitting as well. Being driven partly insane from experiments, she is letting all that anger out and you are the victim. The hammer that she has, despite being so large, is wielded at a breakneck speed here, and while it's possible to dodge into her attacks like some of the other bosses, there are so many attacks that are back to back, it's just simply tough to avoid all of them. Then to make things harder, in stage 2, she sets her hammer ablaze, so there's fire damage and burn effect added into the mix, and I'm telling you, the first several tries in this battle feel nearly impossible. Luckily for us, she does give us a bit of a breather from time to time with her flame fan attack, where she basically just stands in one spot and sort of shoots a blast of flame out in front of you here. And it's a great time to heal up or just simply get viscerals on her, so there is a little bit of a break in the fight. However, if you get caught in any of the flame combos, death is surely going to come your way very fast. In second place is Lamakio, leader of the Bastards, a seemingly easy NPC fight when you first see him from a distance. However, it doesn't take but a second in the actual battle to realize he is one of the fastest and most agile enemies you've ever encountered. Stage 1 is his human stage, and just when you think you're doing well, he'll go off for a mandatory heal and come back again, forcing you to go through most of stage 1 all over again. Then for stage 2, he mutates over, becomes a beast of decay with harder hitting attacks, decay buildup, weapon degrading abilities, and you just simply have so much to keep your eye on this fight and so few opportunities to step away to address those needs, it just makes it almost impossible. Also keep in mind the fight takes place in a very close quarters here, and you have really nowhere to run the fight either to get away from him. All combined, this easily makes up the second hardest fight in the game. And finally, for first place is the final boss in the game, Arlatino, the Blood Artist, and he 100% deserves this spot. Stage 1 is a hard-hitting puppet fight against him, and there is a summon known as Leah, and she can help you out quite a bit here, and between you and her, keep that pressure on him. Stage 1 is going to come to a close fairly quickly. However, stage 2, he turns into a robotic war machine basically, with speed and attacks reminiscent of Radon from Shadow of the Erd Tree, and I'm telling you, this will become a battle of not just simply learning his moves, but also what equipment and items you need to have in order to just simply keep yourself surviving. Like I mentioned earlier, you do get a partner in this fight, Leah, and the overall lore surrounding it is just simply fantastic to the highest degree, but even with her, the fella is still a beast to take down, and he's easily the most horrifying and lore-heavy fight in the entire game, DLC and base game included. But as you're going through the fight, just simply cherish it at the same time, because fights this epic just simply do not come along that often in these Souls-like games. Enjoy the battle. But which fight do you feel is the hardest in the game? Do you agree with my placements? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos listed up above, and go out there, find a great game to play. Simply have a great rest of the day.